The Nairobi Securities Exchange is one of the leading securities markets in Africa. The NSE offers a world-class trading facility for investors looking to gain exposure in Kenya's economic growth. Invest in the NSE and start your journey to wealth creation and financial freedom. For more information, visit www.nsc.co.ke. The NSE. Discover opportunity.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us right here on KTN News. Now it's time for our market analysis. We are joined by Harrison Gitau, who is the Senior Research Analyst from Apex Africa, with us right here at the NSE. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Now let's begin, of course, the market analysis, crunching the numbers. With the NSE 20 share index, compared to last week, we've seen a dip of 1.80%. How significant is this?
The number is quite significant, and it's a negative basic sentiment for the market. We've observed a very huge foreign exit in the market, and that has flooded the market with a lot of shares, putting a lot of selling pressure, and we've observed that with the decline of the NSE 20.
Okay, and as you see that a lot of foreign investors are tending to pull out right now and selling out, what do you think is a trajectory for this kind of, dip for in the coming weeks?
I think there is more room, there is more downside potential in our market. The foreigners are exiting our market. It hasn't done quite so good this year. We are in the negative. We are below the 3,000 mark, which is a psychological minimum point that we are supposed to be at, and we're already below that. And informed by that, foreigners are actually exiting the market. Another thing is there's also risk and fear of stability of our currency. So they're also looking to hedge themselves against that. And there is potential growth in the Americas, the recent hike in the Fed rate. So that has had a sort of ripple effect where they're exiting our markets and going to more lucrative markets.
Of course, so hoping for better numbers in the coming months, I suppose. But let's look at our top gainers. We have seen Home Africa Limited there with a 21.43% gain this week. Now, Saiton, this year did say that the outlook for the real estate sector is positive. But also with these numbers, do you see any outliers affecting the trend?
The real estate sector was expected to be quite positive, but the thing I think we need to remember is that it's heavily pegged on availability of credit in the market. So in as much as the rate cap still remains, we expect the real estate sector not to grow as fast. But with Home Africa, there is a positive market sentiment in that there is a very huge Chinese investor who has been adding up his shareholding in the company. And Chinese investors are known to favor real estate. So it's possible that the company itself is looking at strategic shifts in its execution of the strategy.
Very interesting there. Another gainer we're seeing is Britam Holdings going up by 8%, around 8%. What do you think about Britam and its outlook now? Since, of course, it did manage to pay back that 6 billion that was expected, but much sooner than expected.
Yeah, I think that was prudent for them. Helps them to save up on interest costs, which is quite positive, has been received quite positively by the market, informed by the 8.8% increase. And also the news that its founder shareholders, some of its founder shareholders have actually increased their stake in the company. That has sent sort of a positive vibe in the market, which I think is a good thing.
Okay. Yeah. Talk about the biggest, losers in terms of the markets here. Now, we've got Scan Group Limited going down by 16.77%.
Yeah. For Scan Group, it's quite a sad story because I think they're operating in a very competitive environment, and in as much as the company is trying to stay afloat, I think the market is inferring that the business model for Scan Group, WPP Scan Group Kenya, is quite challenged and sort of exiting the market. Yeah.
So perhaps a reform would benefit them for sure.
Yeah.
But another loser here is Uchumi Supermarket, going down 11.11%. Not a surprise.
Yeah, not a surprise. It's actually sad to see Uchumi below 1 shilling.
Yes.
And the company's recovery or turnaround strategy is heavily pegged on government bailout, which doesn't seem forthcoming. So in the foreseeable future, we expect further declines in the counter.
All right, let's now move over to our top movers. We've seen Barclays Bank there with about 2.1 million, and it seems to be very positive on that front.
Yeah, Barclays this week has been a significant outlier. There has been a lot of foreign participation in the counter. Foreigners are quite interested in the counter. The dividend yield is quite attractive at the moment. The rebranding from Barclays to Absa expected to have a positive impact on its books. It's expected to change its business model to offer more locally competitive products. So that has a positive impact on the counter. But the price has come off in line with what we're experiencing in the market, and at the current price, it's a good time to enter.
All right, well, that was the market analysis this week. Thank you very much, Harrison, for shedding some light on these numbers. And as we've learnt, with companies that need to remodel and rework their existent models, definitely there will be benefits in the future, as we've seen with some of our movers, gainers and losers this week. For now, let's look at Market 101. Now let's take a look at the question on the street, where you get to air your views. And of course, we have our experts answering them for you. Now let's see what the question on the street is this week.
What is the difference between a stock market and any other kind of market?
Thank you very much for that question. It's a question that we receive very oftenly, but ideally there's no difference between the stock market and a normal market. There are willing buyers, there are willing sellers. The commodities that are being exchanged is part ownership of a company or part ownership of debt, and the consideration for the exchange is money.
Fantastic. Of course, we're always happy to demystify anything that you would like. We'll take that up again next week with another question. But for now, let's have a look at the NSE historical fact. And with that, I want to say thank you very much to Harrison Gitau for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Now, this episode of Trading Bell, of course, we have talked about derivative markets, and the potential for growth there is massive, as we have seen. But now we are going to ask for your feedback. What do you have to say? What are some of the questions you have? Do tweet us, of course, Facebook as well, Instagram. Our social media handles are right there appearing on your screen. My name is Malika Kazia, wishing you a wonderful weekend. Thank you for joining us on KTN News Trading Bell.